Hi friends and subscribers, I hope you're all doing well. In this video it's going to be another Doctor Who What If, and this one I want to talk about what if Matt Smith had stayed on Doctor Who for 5 years. Now of course he left Doctor Who after 3 years. He bowed out in the 2013 Christmas special, The Time of the Doctor. But we're going to imagine an alternative timeline where he stayed for 5 years, so until 2015. Now, this is something that could have actually happened for real. When Matt Smith first signed on to play the Doctor, I heard somewhere that the BBC wanted him to stay for at least 5 years. But when he signed on to play the Doctor, he signed a 5-year deal with the show. So, yeah, he was only contractually obligated to be on the show for at least 3 years. And then after finishing those 3 years, he would then have the option to decide whether he wanted to stay for another 2 years. And although he did come close to staying, he did consider staying on for at least one more year for Series 8 in 2014. But of course, he didn't. But yeah, we're going to look at what if happened if he had stayed for 5 years, if he had chosen to stay for an extra 2 years. So this does mean that the Christmas special, Time of the Doctor, would have to be changed quite a bit. I think the plot of the episode would still be the same. We'd still have the battle on Trenzalore, the Doctor protecting the town called Christmas. I think maybe he would still be aging throughout the episode, but then by the end of the episode, instead of the Time Lords giving him a new regeneration cycle, instead they restore him. They make him young again, and prolong his life. Although, inevitably one day he will die from old age, but here they're able to prolong that. And I know it does sound a bit fan-fiction-y, but although it is something I can see the Time Lords doing, it is something that I can actually see one of the, something that Stephen Moffat would write in Doctor Who. It's not something that Russell T Davies would have written, but Stephen Moffat, I think it's something that he could have come up with. So yeah, let's just go with that. So they prolong his life, and then he's perfectly fine at the end of the episode. And then we come into Series 8, which would still have the same set of episodes, although, a few tweaks would have to be made. No, not you, Tweak. Not you. Yeah, a few tweaks would have to be made in order for it to fit the 11th Doctor's personality. So we'd still open Series 8 with Deep Breath, although a few changes would have to be made for it to not be a post-regeneration story, so there wouldn't be any post-regeneration sickness in the episode. It'd just be a normal episode of Doctor Who. And when Danny Pink dies in the finale, I think the 11th Doctor is actually more likely to be a lot more supportive of Clara. I mean, yeah, the 12th Doctor was still supportive for Clara when Danny Pink died, but he just had a weird way of showing that support. It was more tough love. But the 11th Doctor, I think, would be more openly supportive. So much so that I think Clara would be less likely to betray the Doctor. So it does change the dynamic. But we'd still have the same storyline. We'd still have Missy, the 11th Doctor meeting Missy, which would be cool because the 11th Doctor never got to meet the Master. So, yeah, that would have been good to see that. And then for the Christmas special, the 2014 Christmas special, Last Christmas, I don't think much changes would need to be made. And then Series 9 would, of course, be Matt Smith's final series. So, again, the big change would be no guitars, because obviously at the beginning of Series 9, this is where we see the 12th Doctor play the electric guitar for the first time, but obviously with the 11th Doctor staying on into Series 9, we wouldn't have the Doctor playing guitar, because that's a 12th Doctor thing, that's not an 11th Doctor thing. And again, I don't think much changes would need to be required, except for, just a few tweaks in order for it to fit the 11th Doctor's personality. And I think, there are a lot of episodes in Series 8 and Series 9 that I think could have worked with Matt Smith's Doctor. Especially the Zygon Invasion and Zygon Inversion. That's an episode I can see Matt Smith doing. And I think with Matt Smith staying on, it'd probably make Clara's death in Face the Raven even more heartbreaking. Not that it was heartbreaking anyway, but if it was with the 11th Doctor, it'd be more heartbreaking, because of course, it was the 11th Doctor who, that's the incarnation that he was in when he first met Clara. So, yeah, it'd probably be more emotional. And then throughout the finale in Hellbent, I think at the end of this is probably when we get to see the darker side of the 11th Doctor. Like, I think Missy would probably try and tempt the 11th Doctor onto a darker side, and then during the finale we get to see that darker side of the 11th Doctor, which I think would have actually happened if Matt Smith had stayed. I think he has mentioned that we would have seen a darker side of 11. And then I think by the end of Hellbent, the Time Lords would have then granted him his new set of regenerations. And then we come to Husband of River Song, the 2015 Christmas special, which I think this would be Matt Smith's last episode. And it make more sense because obviously, River Song was mainly associated with the 11th Doctor. Like, she met the 10th Doctor in like one story, and then she met the 12th Doctor one time, but her main Doctor was the 11th, so it would fit a lot better with the 11th Doctor. And it'd be interesting to see how he would interact with Nardole. I think it'd be funny to see those two interacting. And then at the end, I think the Doctor, his regeneration would probably be caused by aging. He'd probably spend, his final years with staying with River Song, and then they'd probably age together. Although we probably don't see it happen, because I think we might not even see the regeneration. Yeah, because I reckon that Stephen Moffat probably would have left at this point. I don't think, if Matt Smith had stayed for 2 more series, I don't think that Stephen Moffat would have stayed for just one series with the next Doctor. So yeah, I think he probably would have left, because I think he actually did originally plan on leaving after Husband of River Song. So yeah, Stephen Moffat leaves with Matt Smith. And then after this, there's 3 different scenarios that I came up with. One of them is that Chris Chibnall comes along right after this, and we see Matt Smith regenerate into Jodie Whittaker. Or because Chris Chibnall wasn't available until 2018, this means that maybe Doctor Who could have been like a gap year, or maybe it would have been put on a break for a while. Who knows? until Chris Chibnall was ready to begin his run. Or maybe Stephen Moffat does stay on for series 10 and casts Peter Capaldi, although I think it's more likely the show would probably would take a break until Chris Chibnall comes along. So this means that Peter Capaldi's casting would never have happened if Matt Smith had stayed this long. But yeah, but obviously I'm not here to change history. It's just for fun. You know, it's fun to look at these what ifs to see what could have been. And obviously, I would love to have seen Matt Smith stay longer. As much as I loved Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, but it would have been cool to see Matt Smith do at least two more series. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.